Welcome into another episode of the Mainly Broncos podcast. Did Jalen Waddle have to poop? That and much more on a training camp episode of Mainly Broncos.
Saddle up your horses.
What's going on, everybody? It is another episode of the Mainly Broncos podcast. Where would we be if there was not any technical difficulties? We're getting used to the whole cold intros and everything. But yes, did Jalen Waddle have to poop? That and more we'll be talking about with Broncos trading camp. As you can tell, we have a big-time guest, obviously, here tonight. It is all, you could say it is a Broncos Ave reunion between the two Jordans, J-Mac and Jordan. Reuniting once again. Obviously, we have the Mainly Broncos staple over there on the bottom with Brandon. We got a great show lined up for you. Obviously, we did a show last week, which means we are going to be pumping out more Broncos content weekly because we have football to talk about. The Hall of Fame game is going on. It's halftime in the Hall of Fame game. Carson Beck is going crazy. Haynes King of all people's lighting it up in preseason. I think they even said this is one of the better first halves of the Hall of Fame game. So you'd think there'd be rust, and there is no such thing as rust. Don't tell them. So we have a great show lined up for you today. So J-Mac, how are you doing, man? First things first, you doing good?
I'm doing good, man. Had a really good summer, graduated college and everything like that. And then, my Spurs blew it in the finals. So, but, I was able to recover from that and, I was able to bounce back. But I think other than that, I've been good getting ready for the NFL season. It's been a good transition, especially because my Red Sox are the hottest team in baseball right now. So I've been pretty much enjoying that and just loving every second of it. But, yeah, man, other than that, I've been good.
And Jordan and Brandon, how you guys doing? We finally got more and more Broncos stuff to talk about.
I don't know what having a good baseball team feels like, but I know what having Broncos training camp back feels like, and I'm doing well.
And yeah, thank God football's back because unlike J-Mac, he still has his favorite player on his team. So, I can't speak to that myself. But, football-wise, I still do have my favorite players on their respective teams. So, Malachi Tony is still a Hurricane. Bo Nix is still a Bronco. So it's good times there.
Yeah. Obviously, I want to do an apology for people that were listening on Tuesday with the volume issues. We think we got it figured out and resolved for the future airings, if you will, on over there on 5280 as well as on here, the Mainly Broncos podcast. So if you guys can actually hear me on this one, we've actually hit some progress. So thank you guys. So first things first, we'll address the tease we hit there on the top, which was, did Jalen Waddle have to poop? The answer is no. The answer is no. He did have some muscle tightness right there in the beginning, obviously, more of those injuries is obviously something that I don't think. I don't think any of us are worried about. It's just more as days and days kind of progress, and it's the keyword lingers. That's probably the biggest that all of us are kind of worried about. And we all know that training camp's number one priority for us fans and obviously those players, J-Mac, is injuries. Getting out of those training camps unscathed.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because there was even some potential. I just saw something about Marvin Mims today, and I don't know what's been going around the NFL, but it's just been really weird seeing the number of injuries. The 49ers are the 49ers. It kind of happens a lot. But seeing all these other teams and then seeing all the potential ones with the Broncos, and I'm just glad we have good enough coaches have to say, you know what, guys, it's time just to sit down. And they're gonna definitely, they're gonna definitely be okay. I'm glad with that because in the past we've seen guys like Tim Patrick and everything they're just out for the season. Von Miller, you can't help a torn ACL, but I think they're doing a good job of conditioning the guys, making sure the guys good to go. I'm glad that they're in practice. You know, I'm glad we're a team that does a lot of just rotating the lineups in and out the games, you know, switching up the personnel a lot. So that definitely helps with injuries and everything like that. But yeah, man, training camp is scary, bro, because Jalen Waddle got hurt, Wattenberg got hurt, Nick Benito's gotten hurt, Mims has gotten hurt, and it's like, yo, bro, let's just chill.
Also, not seeing Cortland Sutton participate 3 days in a row was kind of odd. Like, I don't remember ever seeing that. And
Oh yeah,
oh, no, I'm totally fine. I'm completely healthy. And it's like, are you?
Yeah.
No, that was a weird one.
I'm assuming we were talking about Cortland Sutton there with
Yes.
yeah.
Have you ever
I
seen
don't
3
know.
days in a row? 3 vet days in a row?
No, I haven't.
No.
And
Yeah,
that's I don't know. I know everybody has their conspiracy theories now about this, but it's a bit weird. I understand he's a veteran, but it's not like he's a 15-year vet that like needs these days. So I don't know what's going on over there. I'm gonna believe what Champagne's gonna say. That's all we have right now, but hopefully he does actually practice tomorrow. Marvin Mims, again, I heard something happened to him, but it was something very minor. Obviously, with the Waddle stuff, I mean, thankfully, it was only just muscle tightness, and it came from his leg. I mean, Nick Benito looked like he's okay now. I mean, this is probably the worst time of the year now with training camp. So
I was gonna say last
Mims
couple
was,
days have been pretty bad.
I think Mims was like Riley Moss just filling him. So that one was okay. But other
Yeah.
than that, it's like, bro, what are you doing, man?
at least the Broncos
we got
do
that,
not.
brand new facility. Come on.
At least the Broncos do not have
Apologies.
an electrical substation near their practice facility.
I didn't even know the Panthers had one by
Thank you.
theirs, bro. I didn't know the Panthers had one by their training camp until my friend who's a Panther fan was like, bro, you know we have an electric substation. I said, yeah, so that's why you guys are just falling like just falling all over camp, bro. I said, it's just crazy. Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
It is.
Well, and not to jinx anything, but with the amount of like trend that we've been on with health, something feels like it might happen in a way, like because like I mean, obviously, again, that is kudos to our health department, the way that we've, with Bo Lowry and the nutrition staff. That is huge kudos to them. You just know that it's just like at some point it could hit, and we're going to have a rather significant injury. Because, I mean, for argumentative sake, our significant injury, and it showed up, I think, at some moments there in the regular season, but, like, I would say probably our most significant injury was, like, Nick Gargulio, due to the fact that we had, like, depth offensive line issues, right? I don't want to, jinx things too much, but it does feel like whether it be this particular season, next season, that sort of thing, something still feels like it might happen. And so if it does, don't get too worried about it with the trend that we've been on lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you want to just make sure it's nobody that's like just essential, or especially nobody new that we brought in.
In essence, I was gonna say, in essence, not again. We love Nick Gargulio, but a Nick Gargulio.
Yeah, bro. Like, I'm just glad it's nobody that we brought in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, in the offseason that's gonna play like a key role. And I mean, well, with this team, that we only really brought in one key free agent, but I mean, as long as Waddle,
Well, there was one person that we brought in that is going to be back in 5 to 6 days. So,
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad they said Waddle was a strain and he'll be back. To be honest, I would chill on him for about a week. I know they said 4 to 5 days, but
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I want that man to at least be kicked up with his feet at home for an extra 3 days before he just goes back into training camp, because we lose him, we're kind of back at square uno.
So okay, I wanna let's piggyback off of this like injury conversation, because obviously the other one and the big elephant in the room is we all know about the Bo Nix injury and stuff like that. I think it's a fair conversation to have now, and as we are beginning training camp, I think it's a worthwhile question to ask: how much should Bo Nix play in the preseason?
I think he should play maybe like to be honest, I would say the first game, I think he should play the first quarter. And in the last game, I think he should play the first quarter. I know that Sean usually does like the first 2 quarters in one of those games, but
He does it kind of the old-fashioned way, which is you play him in those first couple, and then you sit
yeah.
him in the last one.
Yeah, I'm not with that. I want Bo to be 100% healthy because the first 6 games are going to be brutal enough, and we don't want him to get any type of injury heading into the season, especially because the first 6 weeks of our season are brutal. We're going to need everybody at full go. So I think, if you want to risk it, and also I think it's going to be a little different because I know it's a different OC. And I know Sean is going to want to hide as much as possible with the potential look of the new offense. So I don't really see him doing a lot of Bo, like as opposed to how it's been the last 2 years. I know the rookie season was different, but definitely think be a little different like it was last season. I think it'll just be first quarters and not even the entire quarter. I think the first game Bo will go out there for like the first maybe 2 drives, and then he'll sit the next game. Third game he'll come out there, he'll play maybe the quarter, maybe.
I guess maybe the question actually, I know I said Bo. The question, frankly, is the other guys too. It's like, how much should these other guys? But Bo is the big one, just because, he did have the broken ankle, and it was around, kind of the latter part of the season. So Jordan and Brandon, what's your guys' thoughts on that?
It's tough because of that first 6 opening weeks that is so challenging. I do think getting some actual live game reps back would be helpful, but I agree for the most part with like really no more than a quarter. I don't even know if you need to play him a full quarter in multiple games. Like I think if you play him in a quarter, the first game or the last game, I'm okay with either one of those, but I don't think he really needs to be out there that much, especially when like it's going to be a vanilla offense. I do think, there is something to be said for having a little bit more of a warm up, but I think you can accomplish that in a quarter and then rest him.
Yeah, I think what Sean said in his presser, I think it was today or yesterday, in terms of like Bo looking more relaxed and like knowing more with the playbook and stuff. I think that has something to do with it as well. I mean, last year he was still learning stuff and the whys of what they're doing. Now that he knows that and he's a lot more comfortable with everything, I don't think he needs that much in preseason. But I would say them not having joint practices this offseason, is going to play a factor into how long and who and how much are going to play in preseason games because, with those joint practices last year, those starters would obviously play in those joint practices, and in the preseason game, they'll play a little bit and then they're done. I don't know if this year, if Sean is going to play them more than a quarter because there was no joint practices or stuff like that. And for me, I hope it's not that much. I think Bo is, like how Sean said, he's comfortable with the offense now. He doesn't really need to, do much else in terms of just warming up and getting ready for the season. And then for the rest of the guys too, our offensive line have been together for like 4+ years. Our wide receivers are all comfortable with each other. And it looks like Waddle and Bo already have a good connection with each other. So I'm pretty good on that.
Yeah. Well, and it's just one of those things. Like I'm curious how, obviously, we're talking through this in a Bo Nix preseason lens, but it's just I am curious to see how things kind of evolve. With how they load management people in the preseason. Because like I think another way you could do it is you do play them in every preseason game, but you do it in a sense of like we'll play them like mostly. Say like just hypothetically, like the third preseason game, that's where we'll play them the most. And then the first preseason game, second preseason game, you'll play 3 drives. Then the second game, you'll play maybe 2 drives or something, like load management him in a way. So he's playing in every single game. You're just kind of like lowering the workload a little bit, even in that preseason game, while still giving some of those guys the opportunity. But the other side of that, too, is to what Brandon was talking about and with what we were talking about with the beginning part of the schedule. There's also a part of you that's like, with Jalen Waddle, right? Like maybe even specific to Jalen Waddle, but also to Bo Nix and getting the ground running on that hot start for the season, you almost feel like he needs to play a fair amount, in that preseason so that he already has the juices flowing, he already has the chemistry, he's already operating in year 4, which is what Sean Payton's been talking about, right? Like he's actually in year 4, even though he's in year 3, right? So it's just like I think there's that side of it too, where it's just like there's a comfortability factor with it.
Yeah, me personally, I'm not playing Waddle. I'll probably play Waddle like the first preseason, like the first week of preseason. Maybe like give him 2 possessions. After that, I'm not playing him at all. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I'm good on that.
I don't see a reason to play him personally. Like, yeah, you can talk about getting more of like the chemistry under their belts, but game chemistry. But like, how much game chemistry are you even getting if you even play him for 5 plays? Sure. Like, that's not even, the risk is greater than the reward at that point. But I do think that you're going to see, unfortunately, just knowing Sean Payton, you're going to see him play as starters. Is that going to include Jalen Waddle? I don't know. I don't think that he should, and I don't really want to see him out there, but it unfortunately wouldn't surprise me if he is.
Yeah, again, I know some guys are going to play. Did everyone play last year? I know Bo did, but I feel like there's maybe 1 or 2 starters that didn't play that we're probably missing. Maybe Waddle can be one of those 1 or 2 from last year that don't play.
Did J.K. Dobbins play? This is the one I can't remember.
We'll be looking at it right now.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did at all.
And by the way, J.K. Dobbins, and he shouldn't play again this year either.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, nah. I definitely think a lot of the guys shouldn't play. I think the only guys who really, I mean, like I said, I think both should play a little bit, but I think Dobbins, Waddle, even most of the defensive guys, Benito, Pat, ain't no point of giving those guys a go. Hufanga, it's no point of giving a lot of your main guys, Zach Allen, who plays like such a pivotal role to the team. Because let's be honest, the type of ball they're going to be playing through the first 6 weeks, you're probably going to have some injuries. You're playing like Super Bowl contending teams for the first 6 weeks of the season, so it's going to be war out there. So you need to legit be 100%. Like I'm not chancing the thing, especially when you've seen your guys who usually the last 2 years it hasn't really happened during camp, but we just seen guys like, injuries kind of pile up like this just a little bit, where a lot of the starters are missing practice. So if it's happening this year, and like I said, it's been something weird going around the league, bro. I don't know what it is about this training camp, but it's just one of those off seasons where, hey, the injury bug's spreading, and you just need to calm it down, bro, before somebody crazy goes out.
Other than obviously starters playing, I do think it's going to be interesting, specifically with wide receivers, to see who, outside of the starters, who then gets more reps and more snaps, in the sense that, like, that could give us an idea of who has maybe pulling ahead a little bit more in the, let's say, wide receiver 3 battle. Like if we go out there, we don't see that much Pat Bryant. I could see that as like, he probably has that on lock, and because he's been absolutely killing it from all the reports that we've heard so far in training camp. Condolences, Jordan. But I do think that if you see like limited reps from him, and you're seeing more of like the fringe roster guys that, they gotta have a chance to try to pull ahead or like make a difference, or maybe even be showcasing their talents for other teams. I think that'll be interesting to watch. Like who gets used at wide receiver outside of the normal starters can tell you a little bit more about who's winning wide receiver 3. Yeah. Sounds like it's Pat Bryant.
It sounds like he's separating himself a little bit, sure. And actually, due to the fact that, I mean, I would say maybe the past couple days, you are starting to see a little bit more comfortability with Troy Franklin as well now. Mm-hmm. So like, and and so not
has having, there been? Sorry, did he have more reps? Because I know for a bit there he wasn't playing that much.
Well, I mean, as of late, like it seems like he's getting a little bit more plays, if you will, and he's actually succeeding with a little bit more plays. But I just think that, one of the things that, is always a fun conversation around this time of preseason is just as much as we would love to see the star-studded cast, right, whenever we go to preseason games, it's always nice to see those underdogs, those players that are really kind of fighting for roster spots, because you don't know if you're going to see that diamond in the rough, or, like Zay was mentioning in the chat about Jonah Coleman. I think the thing too is, like, if J.K. Dobbins doesn't play the entire preseason, which we all agree he shouldn't, and just kind of rest him a little, as much as you can. Opportunities like that for like an R.J. Harvey and a Jonah Coleman, and the backfield that you're going to have with Tyler Toilet and Julio McLaughlin, I think it's going to be invaluable for those guys, right? Like, because they're all vying for spots, they're all vying for playing time, and specific to Jonah Coleman, there's no better opportunity for you as a rookie, coming in and with that offense to really garner a lot of that experience.
Yeah, Jonah Coleman in the preseason. I mean, he might make some backups look real bad. That's can't wait to actually watch him play.
I think he is by far the player that I'm most excited to see. In the preseason.
Yeah, I agree. I think out of everyone that I think is going to get some key time, I definitely think, because I think it's going to be kind of similar to RJ last year a little bit, where he got some.
He was a bit slow a little bit.
Then and then just kind of took off.
And then he kind of went down a little bit at the end,
Yeah, like I definitely think this preseason is going to be a lot of Jonah Coleman. But I definitely think the running back 4 spot is the most interesting spot on like the team right now. Well, I ain't gonna say the most interesting, but like especially to me on the offensive side, I'm interested to see what they kind of do with that, because you got like 3 guys that can get it, and it's probably gonna be Tyler Bidae, if we're being just quite honest here. But I definitely think it's gonna be interesting to see that, and then the tight end, was it tight end 3, I think, or tight end 4, whichever tight end spot it is, where they got to make a decision where if Nate Atkins makes the team. I think it's a lot of good. It's gonna be interesting to see what they decide to do, because they drafted Jolie and everything, they drafted Bentley, so I'm interested to see tight end too.
Actually, I was gonna say, like, for me, I mean, everybody's gonna be talking about Jonah Coleman, and they should. But, like, I think Dallin Bentley and Justin Jolie are probably the 2 that I'm really excited about. And that's just because, like, the tight end room specifically with the offensive side of the ball, and then you add the linebacker room for the defensive side of the ball, are probably your 2 most weakest positions, right? We still can already agree with that. And I think that if you have something where you think you've got a semblance of, a stud with Jolie or even Bentley, that's enough to separate, with that tight end room. And I think that for guys like Jolie, and just specific maybe to that room, the expectations for that tight end room are so low that the moment we do see maybe a little bit more of a Justin Jolie, or we see a little bit more of a Dallin Bentley, I think is an opportunity where they can really separate themselves. And I think that's why probably myself would much rather prefer the tight end room to be 4 tight ends, which is Adam Troutman, Evan Ingram, Justin Jolie, and Dallin Bentley being those 4, right? Because, like, I can't see me being biased a little bit. I can't get there with the Nate Atkins, the Lucas Kroll's being an addition to the room. So if you can have 4, with your wild card stashed away of Caleb Lohner at some point, I think that's your ideal tight end room.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, they shocked me when they gave Adam Troutman $10 million guaranteed. I just don't. I wouldn't be surprised if Bentley's a practice squad guy. I just don't see them like cutting Atkins, even with Printers being there. Because if you go back to last year, like, they played both. I mean, they did, and Sean was very proud of that. I mean, I don't think Nate Atkins is a bad player, but like, I think you kind of got to go with your rookies. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bentley.
They did add 2 though, so that's the thing. It's like, I get what you're saying, but they also added 2 tight ends.
Yeah,
and so
I agree. I think one of them being in the 7th round is like cause for them to be like, yeah, we can like kind of sit him a year. Which I think if you move Bentley to the practice squad, I don't think he's going to spend the whole season on the guys. Somebody's going to claim him like 100%.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if they'll cut Nate Atkins. I mean, just because the way they use him as a blocking tight end, and Evan Ingram being as like atrocious as he is as a blocker in every facet of the game, I think they're going to want to use him in those specific situations, which is why I think he's definitely going to be one of the tight ends that makes the team. Just because of the blocking aspect, and we see how Denver loves to. Sean Payton loves bigger guys, bro. He loves those 6'4", 6'5" frame. Now, Lucas Kroll, I definitely think he's a practice squad guy. He's not making. I definitely think he's out. But I think Nate Atkins is very interesting because you can line him up at fullback. And we know Sean. I mean, bro, Nate Atkins was. I hate to say it, he was a big part of the offense. I remember there was a point last year where people was like, "Man, we just can't wait to get Nate Atkins back." I mean, it was a real discourse behind Nate Atkins last year, and I just don't see that necessarily going away because they drafted.
We couldn't wait to get Jordan Humphrey back.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy also that I think he's a lock for the team. You know, Sean Payton loves guys. He's 100% a lock. Whether they bring him back at some point in the season, Lil Jordan Humphrey will play a snap in the regular season. I think we can pretty much, like, if there was a bet on that on DraftKings, slam it.
Right.
Like, he's definitely playing for this football team. So, but I definitely think it's gonna be interesting to see what decision they make. I definitely think the right decision would be to, you know, make your 2 rookies that you drafted that are just completely better than by what, let's say 80% of the room. Outside, really anyone not named Evan Ingram, the 2 guys he drafted are probably better than. So I definitely think it's if it was me, I would definitely keep them 2 over, you know. If it was me, Troutman, no disrespect, Troutman wouldn't even be here. But, you know, he's going to make the team. He's going to be tight end too. So I really think it's going to be who's going to be the tight end 3 is what I'm interested to see what they're going to do there. But hopefully it's Jolie.
So let's talk about that tight end room, because one of the studs, not ignoring it, one of the studs in training camp is Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram looks good. Like, Evan Ingram looks, by all accounts and everything that we're reading, Evan Ingram looks really good, and he's one of the largest studs in training camp. Marvin Mims is another one. We'll definitely be talking about Marvin Mims. But, you know, Jordan and Brandon will take it to you guys. But, like, how much stock are you buying, like, with Evan Ingram doing so well right now? Because, like, right, there's that question of, like, he's playing well, but is that just the product of the environment? Is that the product of training camp? Or is that just the fact that maybe he is, in fact, taking that step?
I'm selling. I'm not lying. I'm selling. Look, he needs to prove it to me during the season at this point, because he's been around the block. Like, there is no reason for him to not easily be the best tight end on this team, allegedly. And the fact that it's even a question is like, I don't know about that, man.
Yeah,
And
with Evan Ingram,
he's like 31. He's 31.
Yeah, he's for sure in his 30s. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to Evan Ingram, the only reason why I'm a little bit more optimistic for this year is solely just based on the play caller. I mean, you could take that for how you will. It's nothing that has to do with Ingram. I think Ingram still has a little bit of magic still in him. Hopefully, Davis Webb can bring it out of him. But that's the only reason why I'm a little bit optimistic for Evan Ingram this season. In terms of Marvin Mims, though, you know Broncos football is back when you start hearing the coach say that we need to give Marvin Mims more touches. I mean, that is the
Football's
new
back, yes.
yeah, that is the new bat signal for Broncos football's back, because Marvin Mims, I'm sorry,
it's the new
Marvin Mims. Practice. Yes, it really is, Brandon. I mean, it's getting to the point where we have heard he's been great in every training camp he has been since he's been drafted. We've seen him make plays in big games, not in just like games against like the Raiders or whatever.
Yeah.
In big playoff games and big games for seeding, like in those type of games. Yet we still struggle so hard. I've never seen a team struggle so hard to get the ball into a playmaker's hands like we do with Marvin Mims.
Dude, I'm just waiting for the game where he has 2 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown, and then in the post-game press conference, Sean's like, yeah, we should have gotten the ball more. Should have figured out a way to give the ball more.
It might happen in the preseason game, the first preseason game.
Yeah, look.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Bro, to go on what Brandon said, and I'm not going to lie, Brandon had me crying. He said, I'm selling. I definitely think the Evan Ingram stuff is just kind of a wait and see what he does in this offense, because I think a lot of the Evan Ingram issues are just him not being able to catch the ball and him not being able to separate as well as he has in the past. I mean, with that being said, he still led all tight ends in separation, which is actually crazy to say. And I think he wasn't that great in it. But I think it's really just him catching the ball. And it's just one of the things he cannot block for shit. I mean, he can't block at all, bro. Like, it's not one of those things where you just like where you can throw him in there to kind of disguise it. Like, dude, if he's on the field, he's getting blown up, bro. Whoever his assignment is, they're getting in the backfield, whether it's a screen. So it just makes it tough to kind of play him, which is why I think Nate Atkins is definitely going to make the team. But to go on about the Marvin Mims stuff, I kind of have a question for you guys, and because I agree with everything you guys said. Like, where would you rank him in our receiving room? Like I'm kind of so obviously the 1 through 5 being like the 5 main guys: Waddle, Mims, Sutton, Brian, and Franklin. Like, where would you rank Mims kind of in the room? Because matter of fact, I'm gonna let you guys go because me and Trav had a good little debate about this about a week ago. So I kind of want to hear you guys that, and then I'll give my ranking for him.
See, it's hard for me to put him anywhere other than 3 right now, just because Pat Bryant, like, he definitely had some flashes last year. I think Pat Bryant could easily take over there. And I just think, unfortunately, that's going to happen regardless of how much of a jump he takes. I think he's going to have a jump, but I also just think Pat Bryant's going to get more snaps than Marvin Mims. So right now, I think I would put him at 3, but I think it's probably going to be 4.
Pat Bryant's number 1 hater. Jordan, what say you?
So we're talking about like who's wide receiver 1, 2, 3.
No.
How would you rank him? Like, when I say wide receiver 3 right now, I'm not saying he's currently wide receiver 3. I'm saying, but in my ranking,
the current standing of the room, where would you put him?
Yeah,
Marvin Mims.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, listen, I go off of what I've seen on the field, and the guy just makes big plays when they need to be made. Marvin Mims should be the wide receiver 3. He should be. He's not. He's not.
So he's your wide receiver 3.
Yes, 100%.
Like behind Waddle and who?
It'll be Waddle, Sutton, and Mims.
Okay.
So, and this is coming from the same guy that wrote an article on Predominantly Orange about how Troy Franklin has the highest ceiling of any wide receiver on the team.
Yep.
Okay, no, it just because I think statistically, the year that we had last year, Franklin is your number 3. Statistically, Franklin's your number 3.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean he's your number 3. Because I think for me, when it comes to putting the system, I won't have a 5 because I think that Franklin and Mims are kind of together because they're still relatively unknown, even though we saw Franklin take a step that I think we should be recognizing more in that year too. Right? But I think that when you look at it, it's definitely Waddle, and then it's Sutton, then it's Bryant. But then, like, the 2 4s, if you will, are Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin. Just because the other part of it, too, is the elephant in the room of they could be trade bait. Marvin Mims is in a contract year. And if Mims shows out in this training camp session, preseason session, Troy Franklin could be the Devon Bailey that warrants a draft pick for another team. Marvin Mims in a contract year, if he shows out and he's playing, could actually be the Devon Bailey type of situation where he warrants a draft pick, if you will. It's a very interesting, conversation, but it's just like, but I think that the thing that, like, for Mims, and I think it's puzzling because I think Mims has a lot in the tank when it comes to his route running and everything with that. But you do see it. It's like there is some untapped potential with him. And I will say it until the dogs go home that it has never been the Deebo Samuel conversation for me with him. It's actually been, you look at the prototypical size and everything, and it's a relatively high ceiling for as explosive as this player was. But Percy Harvin is always kind of like the player that always kind of comes to mind a little bit for me. And I just think that it's like if you can really harness that explosiveness, I don't see why there's not a world where you can actually keep your wide receiver room locked up for the
Yeah.
foreseeable future, even with the Troy Franklin, because the best thing for you and the best thing for your quarterback is having chemistry with your wide receivers. And so I
Yeah.
think that if you can, almost, and I was saying this on 5280, there's, you know how they always say there's a NASCAR package for defense of pass rushers? Why not a NASCAR offense where you might end up having Sutton and Watt on the field because they're interchangeable, but it's just why not have an opportunity where you actually see Waddle on the field, Franklin on the field, and Mims on the field, because you're going to be generating so much speed that's going to be generating downfield that's going to be kind of hard to keep up for those DBs.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I would say where I kind of have Mims. I know a lot of people are gonna disagree. I definitely would have him at 2 or 3, and I'm kind of leaning towards 2.
Yeah.
I just think, and I know people like I definitely want to see how Sutton's gonna play next to Waddle. I think that's something to keep an eye on here, because I know Mims is in the contract year, and if Pat Bryant has a year, I think he's gonna have. Definitely think there's some conversations to be had about who could potentially be out in this room. And me personally, I mean, I'm pretty sure Jordan already knows where I'm going with this, but I just don't see how you can go into another season, given how the playoffs went and given how late in the season went, just how last season went in general, with Marvin Mims basically saving our season time and time again after the entire wide receiver room was just absolute just dog shit and was basically playing horrible, dropping. They was second in the league in drops, crucial drops, lacking separation. In Davis Webb, I think we're seeing. I think we actually may see it this year. I don't want to put any money stock into it, but I think we may actually see it. But I'm sorry, bro. Like, if I have to keep Bryant or Mims long term as opposed to Sutton, I think it's almost a no-brainer in which direction I'm going. I'm definitely keeping Bryant because I actually think Bryant can be a good replacement for Cortland Sutton.
Yeah,
Maybe
Brian
not
seems
this
to be the
season,
heir
but
apparent.
definitely in the future. Go ahead.
So I was just saying, yeah, Brian seems to be the heir apparent. Like what
Yeah. Like I just think honestly, bro. Like, I'm sorry. The rankings for me would I probably have to go Waddle 1. I think Mims and Bryant are kind of like 2 and 3 juggling for me, and then 4 I'll go Sutton, 5 I'll go Franklin. I just think you know what you're getting with Sutton, bro. Like, and I went back and watched pretty much every single game from this season. Like, I do it in my spare time, and like, I don't know who's keeping track of the stats, but like, I know for a fact Cortland Sutton had 4 drops in that Buffalo game. 2 of them came in overtime. And I'm not trying to just put one game on them, but it just happened so much. Like, I just think in order to fix the drops, you have to play different guys. Like, I'm just not a believer in, you can go through all these drop drills and it's just going to magically fix a player's hands. I just don't think that's – and it's one of those things where you got a guy who makes nothing but big plays, and you got a guy that's like, he makes big plays, but they're not timely. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of his mistakes are the worst possible times.
Depending on the situation, they are timely. Because there were situations like this last year where, like, where did that come from? Right? Like, and then it's a big, like the fourth.
I'm talking about Sutton.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the 4th and 2 play with the Green Bay game. It's like, okay, Bo, like you're actually going to go to Sutton here, and you're not going to go to the wide open Tyler Bidet on this. And so it's just like there's moments where, and obviously the Giants game as well. So I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. But I also think too, like it's clear the Broncos themselves felt on the other side of things that Keir Colbert, is that the guy's name, the wide receiver coach?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was at least from the interpretation was the problem, and I think that bringing in Ronald Curry, who's got the familiarity with Sean, should probably help. And in my opinion, I actually think that's going to be a hire for the staff that I think a lot of people I wish talked about more. You know what I mean? Like I wish a lot of people talked about that more, because knowing the fact of where we are with that wide receiver room, I think having that kind of chemistry already with the wide receiver coach who knows Sean, who knows how to operate with Sean, was already under consideration for the offensive coordinator gig when he was first hired by Denver. He's already in high regard by Sean. And so I think that when you have that and you bring something in there where he's going to be able to coach this team and coach Troy Franklin and Coach Cortland Sutton, who really had a fall off when it came to more body catches versus hand catches, I think is something that was a little bit more of a huge disappointment for me when it came to Sutton. Was like, this is the guy who's got unbelievable hands, and he's using body catches more often than not in 2025. And some opportunities have worked out, but some opportunities it just failed to capitalize.
Well, you do know who had the lowest catch rate out of the wide receivers last year. It was Sutton. And the highest catch rate was Marvin Mims. And actually, ironically enough, everyone's prince to be made, Pat Bryant, is very close to Troy Franklin in catch rate, which I did not expect. Because I thought I saw Troy Franklin drop quite a few last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know who's keeping track of stats, but Troy Franklin had way more than 4 drops. I don't care what anyone tell me on that. But to go out what you said, Cam, I agree that the coaching hire does matter. I just think when you have it does matter because when you have your tight end 1 and your wide receiver 1 be like both top 5 in the league in drops, I think that's definitely goes to show that something isn't like going right in that room. But
it's
I also
both
think
the player and the coach. But no, it's not just
Yeah, but I just think like when you got guys who can like vertically stretch the field, and it's not really just about downfield. I know it's about the in between game too. I'm just like, there's no way I'm just gonna like bank on Cortland Sutton long term over those guys, especially because Marvin Mims has a payday coming up. I just giving off what we've seen. I just feel like it shouldn't be like a thing to kind of sit down and be like, we have to talk about this. I think it's just kind of be like, okay, let's maybe keep the guy who kind of saved our season last year, because we got to remember when Pat Bryant went down and they called on Mims once again. Mims was insane. Would he go for like 6 for 6, 74 yards and a touchdown?
Wasn't quite like 2024, right? Like where he almost had, 500 yards, like from the midway point of the season on. Wasn't quite like that, but he turned it on, after that trade deadline.
You can go to the Chiefs game, the second Raiders game, the Giants game, even the Colts game. You can go to so many of these games where they called on him to make plays, and he's made plays. And people have to realize why they're calling on him to make plays. They're calling him to make on plays because our other guys are just getting taken out the game. They're lacking separation. There's no juice. And I just think, you add Waddle, having Pat Bryant, and even Sutton. Like, I think you have to play, like, I just think you just can't have 14 out there just as much as you did last season. Like, it's time to give the reins to the younger guys a little bit, bro. I'm sorry, it is. It is.
Yeah.
By the way, I do agree with the statement. Just wanted to bring that up. I'm looking at the stats right now. Marvin Mims ran 200 less routes than Troy Franklin, who was our leader in yards after catch.
Talk about it.
And Marvin Mims was 40 yards short of that. Troy Franklin had 280 yards after the catch. Marvin Mims had 240. Troy Franklin ran 200 more routes in the season. I don't know how much Marvin Mims has to do. I'm hoping the new wide receiver coach, Davis Webb, calling the play, like something changes. But man, like I don't know what else he has to prove.
It could just simply be they don't want to risk him getting injured because he's one of the best returners in the league.
I think you have to go back. You have to get over that phase now.
Yeah, bro. Because
I agree with you, but I'm trying. I'm trying to come up with a legitimate reason that because they're not that dumb, right?
Bro, it just has to be. It comes to a certain point where it's like if you have to keep asking yourself something, like you gotta look in the mirror and say, okay, maybe I'm a problem. Like because it just keeps showing time and time again that he's just like you said, Marvin Mims, bro. Like all this man does is come in and make plays, dog. Like there is no question on it. And again, I'm not saying make him wide receiver too, but I'm just saying like definitely give him way more reps than he's gotten in his career. Like make him a focal point in his offense.
It's just the Marvin Mims thing is really just such a mystery because I was saying it on Tuesday's show. It's like go back and look at his college career. Like go back and look at his college career when he was showing up in big moments. He was showing up in big moments with Oklahoma. And of all things, Caleb Williams, when he was at quarterback, right? Like the Texas, the Texas River Shootout, when Caleb Williams made himself known to the rest of the world that, I'm the number one recruit in the nation. I'm going to supplant Spencer Rattler in this game and take Oklahoma all the way back and beat, Texas in the Red River Shootout. In that game, he throws an unbelievable ball that Mims high points and catches in the corner of the, where the pylon was. And it was just one of the big moments of the game. So it's just like there is something in that gene where it's just he rises to the occasion. And then sometimes it isn't in the passing game. It's also in the special teams game. There were numerous occasions last year where he had a special teams run that they badly needed. Like there's the Raiders game where he finally had a return punt for a touchdown, right? And then the offense was kind of sputtering a little bit in that Raiders game, but they badly needed that breakthrough, and Mims gave it to him. The Chiefs game is another example of that, right? At home. So it's just there is a mystery about him. The other, and I don't mean to laugh, but it's just like the funniest thing about this, though, is the trend, the way you're seeing, it feels like it's already going to where it's a contract year. He's going to end up playing out of his mind, from start to finish. You know what I mean? Balloons. But like he's going to be, playing nonstop from start to finish. You know what I mean? And who knows? The Broncos might actually reward him with a contract, or another team's going to see that and actually pay him. And then, at some point we either bear fruit to what we're seeing with Marvin Mims from another team, or with here. But it's just like it is a bit of a mystery with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna end up probably happening. He's gonna have he's gonna have a better year than he's had as a Bronco in the receiving game. They're not gonna pay him, and he's probably gonna end up going to a few teams that I think I have in mind who I think is gonna actually sign him and go crazy. Kansas City, New England, or Chicago. And let me tell you what's gonna end up happening. You see, how the AFC West is. Oh, they love stealing the Broncos' great players, bro.
Dude, but those are literally the worst spot. Like, I would cry,
bro, because you got to remember, like coaches know how good he is, bro. Watch him go. I'm telling you, bro. No. I'm talking about coaches other than us. So I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. In free agency, Mike Vrabel is gonna give him that phone call and tell him, "We'll give you $13 million a year. Come play with AJ and Romeo, because Booty's probably gonna be gone after this year." And now we're cooked. Because we're going to play them. Game is going to happen. It's just one of those things where I just got a feeling the Broncos are going to fuck this up majorly. I just have the gut feeling because they're just so, like, it's not enough money to go around. We all know Riley Moss is likely gone. I just think Broncos got to – I mean, well, you never know. Like, if he has a crazy enough year, they may pay him mid-season, but I just don't see it. Because you got to pay Brandon Jones. You got to pay Jaquan McMillan. I mean, if it was up to me, another wide receiver in that room would probably be gone to free up some cap. But, I mean, that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, talking about paying money, is Riley Moss going to be gone, or is the 2025 first-round pick actually going to get some reps? Because I don't know what's happening there. I know he had a good day today at training camp, but –
which is good to hear.
It's great, but what's going on? What's going on here?
I think it's one of those things where he kind of played a lot of nickel, and they're trying to, like, if he's going to replace Riley, they're going to have to, like, kind of switch up his game a little bit because he's damn sure not replacing Jaquan. Jaquan is locked in, certified. Yeah. And Jaquan ain't going nowhere. Yeah, that spot is his. But I think it's definitely interesting because not only is he battling Riley Moss, he's battling Chris Abrams-Drain, which is another reason why I think Riley Moss is for sure might be out of there unless they tag him or something like that. I just definitely think Chris Abrams-Drain has kind of earned his spot, like, to where if Riley Moss is gone, like, I'm not just giving this up because he no first rounder. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's definitely like a say with Chris Abrams. If Riley Moss does leave, that Chris Abrams-Drain is definitely one of those, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan, you mentioned it. What are you saying?
I mean, with the consensus right now at a training camp is that Riley Moss is having the best training camp that he's had since he's been in Denver.
He's leaner,
Uh,
it feels like.
Yeah, and a big part of it was him and Jaquan McMillan actually went down and trained with Pat's coach, DB coach down here in South Florida. So he got a lot of reps there. I'm pretty sure he picked up on a lot of stuff. So of course he's gonna keep on improving and stuff like that. I know some of the questionable calls last year kind of haunted him in some type of way. I know Hufanga talked about it yesterday or the day before. But with Jade Barron, at the end of the day, he's a first-round pick. I understand the reason why he didn't get on the field last year, but in year 2, you would hope your first-round pick, plays some meaningful snaps. And if he doesn't, then something has to be going on. I know the room is stacked, but are we going to move him for somebody else? Like something has to be done. Again, and I understand we're one injury away from that room where we're going to need Jade Barron. But, I mean, again, he's your first-round pick, and he was the guy being talked about as the best corner or one of the best corners in that draft. And we really haven't seen it due to just the cluster in the room and just because, I mean, just with the limited playing time, he hasn't gotten those opportunities.
Yeah, I agree. I think some people are kind of overreacting just a little bit because, I mean, bro, he's not a starter. So I think people got to realize he's not going to get starter reps or like that's just what it is. I mean, he definitely like gets playing time, but I think the role they have him in there right now is kind of like a nickel role in a way or a safety role. Like they kind of have him playing a lot of stuff like dime backer, playing that safety sometimes. He comes in, guards tight ends, guards running backs. I mean, they kind of got to do a little bit of everything. Like I call him the Joker of the secondary almost. I think he does a lot, but in terms of like what people are expecting him to be, I think the Broncos drafted him in the first round because he was first round talent and he could provide like elite depth in the secondary because as we saw when Pastor Tan went down, him and Chris Abrams-Drain came in and did just damn good job at coming in and I mean I'm just not overreacting to it just a little bit. I'm gonna still give him some time because I still think there's some decisions to be made in that room and for the future. And you never know, like we could be going into next season like, all right, Riley's out of here because of how he played. You know what I'm saying? Or Riley's out of here and now it's Jade time and they fully move him to outside corner. He does what he's got to do. But I'm not ready to call curtains on it just yet. But it's definitely like a weird thing because you draft the guy in the first round. It's like, damn, he ain't starting the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't made his way up in that room. But then you got to remember, like, who is in that room. Like, you got some of the best guys in the league that's in that room that he has to kind of beat out. So, I mean, it really is tough.
Brandon?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. You got to have him do something or trade him. I don't even know like what you're going to get at for him, but get something out of that pick. Either that's going to be a player that's making some kind of an impact for you or I guess draft picks, even though like it would be a completely horrible divestment of resources because you spent the first on him, but I'm still of the mind that it was a panic pick because the pick they wanted to make happened right before.
Unbelievable. I mean, I'm not saying I would do it or won't do it, but would you just do right now a 1-for-1 for him and Vita Vea?
Honestly, I think I would.
But
I mean,
would you say, Kevin?
The Bucks won't take it.
The Bucks wouldn't do it. I would do it.
I think they would, but I think like if you're the Broncos, like okay, just like would y'all pay Vita Vea?
I mean, you'd have to.
You have to. That's I mean, that's kind of assumed. It is tough because he's a little bit older, but he's so good, man. If you're trying to maximize the window, like I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah, no, like if you have Vita Vea, because it'll be like a 1-year thing. Because I'm telling you right now, the Broncos aren't going to pay him. Like I just don't see it happening. They just paid Zach Allen, extension, everything like that. And they didn't pay JFM. But I mean, if you were to do that, you completely maximize the window, like Brandon said. I'm kind of.
If you're not paying him, absolutely not. Like you have to pay him. That's a requirement.
Yeah, I'm in the mindset of man, swap him for a tight end.
Send him off to Detroit for Sam Laporta.
See that would be a good way to.
You see now we can talk, but I mean, I was gonna say Kittle can't stay healthy. He just doesn't.
Dude,
He's
But
also
Okay,
older than Jesus.
Jade Barron and something else for Trey McBride. Where do I
now
sign?
you got me. See, I'm with you
Where
on
do I
that.
sign?
I'm with you on that 100%. Because I tell you what, bro, I'm sorry. Like, you know how, bro.
The Cardinals are going nowhere anyway. Why don't they just set up a good defense?
If you get Bo Nix, Trey McBride, you might as well just give us some Lombardi in the preseason, bro. It's over. Telling you right now, it's over with. Because yeah, it's real interesting, bro. The Jade stuff is kind of crazy because Ibuka was definitely the pick, and I just think it was a George Payton pick. I think George Payton got really excited that wait, Jade's still there, and he kind of took him. But I mean, I will say last year definitely paid dividends though, having that guy there because Alex Singleton is just atrocious in coverage. So him being able to step in for that is definitely like a plus. Like I definitely think he plays like a really good role because whenever Vance decides to go fully man, I'm going full nickel. You can run 5 corners on the field.
Yeah, and when you can do whatever with him, and I think that that kind of continues the theme of like, obviously, I think when they drafted him, I agree with you guys. Like, and this is something Brandon and Jordan we've talked about on the show numerous times. They've had a plan for him when they drafted him to be the nickel corner, right? And then Jaquan McMillan just took off and really became that dog of that nickel corner. And the plans changed, but I think that they knew because you're not an idiot necessarily. So when you're scouting a player, you're scouting the entire player, and so I think that when you're scouting him, you kind of had a chance to see that he's a versatile piece. He's a versatile piece of this secondary that can be used in a lot of different ways. So in some ways, it was a win-win for you because J-Mac won his nickel position, but here comes. Barron, who can be able to play some of these roles. And then I think there's a window for you that could work out long term. And would I be one that would want to pay Brandon Jones? Yes. But I think that there's at least a window for you contractually to play Jade Barron more full time if you wanted to have him be your Brandon Jones replacement, just because he is such a very flexible piece for you. And then if you have that point, then you really have two high intellectual players in Talanoa Hufanga and Jade Barron manning the back in terms of your safety position. That would be a really tempting, I think, proposition for the Broncos at that point. Because one, we all know he's cheaper, right? Like, even though he's a first-round pick, he's cheaper. And, Brandon Jones might be worth, upwards of what they paid Hufanga, when he came here. So I still wouldn't mind extending Brandon Jones. I would love to extend Brandon Jones. But it's just one where I think that there's at least a runway for you, where if you wanted to have some more playing time for him going forward, Barron, I think, at safety being next to Talanoa Hufanga might be your move.
How much do y'all think Brandon is going to command a year?
I don't know, Brandon. Tell me, how much do you think you're going to command a year?
Dude, I'll take $3 million a year. I'm not picky.
I honestly, because they signed him to 3-year 20, so he's definitely gonna get more than that, and he's still 20.
Because what was Hufanga, right? Like Hufanga was 3 for 30 or something like that. It was like over 10 a year.
Yeah, but his contract was like a lot of that was basically if he plays. Yeah, like he gets 11 this year. Yeah, the Broncos gave themselves a potential out after this season if they wanted to, but
that won't happen.
Yeah, that won't happen. So he's getting like 11. He signed 3-year 40. So I think Brandon Jones was kind of a little less than that. I would say you probably give him, because you gave him 320 last time, it'd probably be like 335, somewhere around that. Which I ain't gonna lie, I'm not against that. I don't think that's that bad.
Honestly, that's pretty fair.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'd give him that. Compared to how much, because I don't know how much Jade is making as a first-round pick. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere. I know it's not exactly.
I think it's just less. It could be like the deal Brandon signed when he signed.
Yeah.
Based on the slot.
So Jalen Petrie of the Texans is making 3 years, 39. I'm assuming Brandon Jones' agent is gonna probably compare him to Petrie and say, hey, maybe we want 3 years, 40. with a certain amount guaranteed.
The same APY, the same, everything, but you just kind of take the guarantees up just a tad.
I mean, the APY is 13 a year. I mean, Jaden Petrie is getting. Let's see how much he's getting guaranteed. Guaranteed 20.
So that
So
also
now-
adds. So then there's also like, well, how much is Jaquan getting? Because they play the same nickel spot. Because
The lowest I thought I'd see was just above 10 a year, I thought, for like one of the highest nickels. So then it's also too like it feels like you'd almost have to commit to. Do you want to commit to J-Mac then, or do you want to commit to Brandon Jones?
to Jaquan.
So,
Yeah.
and
But
so-
right now, you should be trying to get these deals done now because the longer
Yeah,
you wait, the
worse.
more you're gonna have to pay. Like I think when we extended Sertan, that was perfect because right now his contract looks like it's the best one in the league.
Sutton's
Bro.
is actually now too, the way that some of those deals are looking.
Yeah, I mean it's just the sooner you get it done, the better.
And I definitely think Powers restructuring means that they're working on one of them. They're probably gonna get Brandon first, would be my guess,
I don't
and
know.
then Jaquan. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like they should have paid Jaquan after the year we lost to Buffalo. I feel like you should have paid him then, because now he's more money. But then they want to see one more season. I mean, because I'm telling you right now, like I don't see them franchise tagging him because the tag is way too high.
I was
now.
shocked they only tendered him.
Yeah, it's definitely. But I definitely think both of them stay. That's why I think Riley is like the odd guy out here, because I definitely think they're both gonna stay. I mean, you never know. They could re-sign them both and franchise Riley and just say we just not gonna do nothing in free agency, which I wouldn't be surprised they do that because they didn't do anything this year. So
Got to save
Yeah,
up as
I
much
definitely
money as
see-
you can to give Bo probably 50 to 60 million a year.
see, and that's what I do want to ask y'all. Like, let's say, I mean, because I guess the only thing Bo can go up from here is like going to or winning the Super Bowl. So like, how much do you think Bo should get on his next contract? Like, do you think Bo is gonna, get like Trevor Lawrence type, Jordan Love type money, or you think he's gonna,
Brandon?
get something less than that, or should he like even take some type of pay cut?
Brandon?
I mean, I think he's for sure going to be over 50 a year,
Yeah, it's probably like 50.
and it's not a bad
I
thing
don't
because
know.
the salary cap keeps on going up. I mean,
Yeah,
if right now Burrow's at 55, he hasn't played like in 2 years. Jared Goff is at 53. He wasn't great last year, and he's 29. So I mean, Jordan Love is at 55, and I know there's been, everyone's either loves Jordan Love or they hate him. I mean, Prescott's at 60. I don't think Bo's touching that, and we shouldn't want him to touch that anyway. I think Bo
no.
actually realizes that. I think Bo's the type of guy too that he would take less.
Yeah,
to-
yeah,
Well-
that's kind of where I'm with it too, bro. Like, I think it's gonna shock a lot of people that like I think bro might take less, given like he knows that I low key want to keep this team together, bro. Because
Do I think the structure of the deal, like the years, like will be the same?
Yeah.
No, but like I will say my initial reaction with Patrick Mahomes' first initial deal, which was like the 10 years and 500 million, like his first initial deal, like whatever it was pretty obnoxious. But you do look at that now, and you're like, actually, that seems a little bit kind of like a steal because the more money was spread out year after year after year, so we were able to afford players, to be able to come here. So so it's gonna sound kind of like a hot take. I'm not ruling out the possibility of a deal like that.
yeah, I agree with that.
Just because, like, just when you look at Bo Nix's history and how loyal he is, I think there's at least a world where it probably is not going to end up being 10. But I think there could be a world where he's signing a 6-year deal that's going to end up being on top of, the 5th-year option.
Could be.
And so I think that's at least an option for you, and I think it'll be a little bit of a cheaper APY or higher guarantees, but also it's spread out more so that they have a little bit more money to work with.
I think our owners are going to take care of him.
Oh no, they totally would. The only reason I said like 58, you look at the Burrow deal, you look at the Jared Goff deal. Those were 3-4 years ago at this point, 2-3 years ago at this point. So, I mean, the salary cap just continues to go up, and our owners have like there is no salary cap basically, right? So, I do think it's going to be up there. I don't know if it's going to hit Dak level, but I do think it's going to be. Go for it.
No, I was gonna say right now on Spot Track they got him at 4 years, 214, making like 53.4 a year. That's what his market value is right now.
For Bo?
Yeah, it's 4 years, 214 million, 53.4 average annual salary. That's what they got market value.
Okay, so he's 0.4 above Jared Goff, Brock Purdy. So the guys that would be above him would be Allen, Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, Prescott, and Mahomes.
Which I think is fair. I mean,
I think it is fair too.
Especially fair when you consider he's actually a top 12 quarterback in the NFL, contrary to the morons that are on the social media verse.
Yeah, and he can backload it too.
Yeah,
honestly, like I mean, because he could backload it and have like the first 2 years of it be, he's not making that much, and then you can still, because I mean, like honestly, a lot of the guys are already locked up, so it just gives him more room to kind of maximize this window that they have. And plus, I mean, I'll be honest with you, the way it's looking is they're gonna sign him sooner than later because
agree.
If he wins let's say hypothetically we win the Super Bowl, he's not. It's gonna be more than that. He's probably gonna.
he will get the 60.
I'm not gonna lie. If he gets a Super Bowl, bro, and he wins the AFC West again, it gets like the 1 seed against something crazy. Yeah, he's gonna have to get it, bro. Like, and the thing is, the Broncos, like, you don't want to stiff him on that. Now, unless Bo is like, I'll take such and such less, but I mean,
$30 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, he could do what my guy Wemby did, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Spurs. You know what I'm saying? Take like a $50 million pay cut, but
or he could do what Kawhi did and just do that completely illegal and just.
Hey, I'm not against that though. You see, because like you still getting. I mean, to be honest, Broncos can do that, but I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, bro, they own fucking.
I mean, in all seriousness, with the new stadium coming, with everything that's in favor of their momentum and all the cash flow they're about to get, even we already have. I mean, we have the richest owner in all sports, but with the new stadium and how much that's going to attract, I mean, I don't think that contract is going to be worrisome for the owners and our guys.
But
no, they're not sweating that.
Agree. Brandon, do you have any final thoughts?
No, all I was going to say is, man, I wouldn't be surprised if you see this contract come together sooner rather than later. I don't think it would happen before the end of this next season, but I don't know, man. I think, especially given how well we've shown that like we are out of the curve in terms of paying out contracts before we have to pay out contracts, and we get deals done, good deals done, and save money that way. I think it's going to happen soon.
Well,
it's going to happen after this year.
I'll say this: he should be the first quarterback signed in that class.
Yeah,
I think he will be. That'll set a lot of people up.
Because if you wait for those other quarterbacks to get signed, then it's going to be rough. Let him be the first one signed.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, with everything we talked about, which was the training facility, the new stadium, it's another reason why I feel like there's a possibility where that contract might actually rival what Mahomes did, which was more years, more loyalty for you. You're committing yourself to this franchise, and then knowing what we know about Bo and wanting to stay at Auburn and, and going to Oregon, he's loyal to a fault, and so I think there's at least that window for you where it could be close to or right at year threshold, for you. So where the eyeballs will see and be like, wow, that is a lot of money and a lot of years. But in reality, it's actually spread out over multiple different years, and you can front load it, back load it, and you can actually have a little bit more money to work with for you. So I think it's very much an option for you, and so I think it's going to be one where it is at least on the table for the Broncos. So
That'll be fun.
yeah.
All right, I got to hop, gents. Great chatting with you. Go Broncos. Next Friday, preseason game number 1.
Next Friday. That's right. Next Friday.
I can't believe it.
It's crazy that we're here already. Crazy.
We're already at a yeah. Take care, Brandon.
All right, man.
Yeah.
You know, I do think it's funny how you got that Bo Nix is probably, you know, I like Jordan said, I definitely hope he's the first guy paid in his class. But I just think it's funny how, you know, he gets killed for basically, you know, everything that he fucking does, you know, training and everything. While you got the Chargers quarterback out here playing footsies and kissy poo and training camp and shit. To be, I ain't gonna lie, man. I actually kind of hear what you guys was like, you know, we ain't got to dive into too much, but, you know, kind of saw in first reaction to that because I tell you, I was crying laughing. I laughed at that shit for about 5 to 10. I laughed at shit about 5 to 10 minutes, bro. That shit was hilarious.
I actually had like a pause react like a 5-second reaction that was like, well, gosh, you don't see Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce doing that on the sideline, you know, like, but it was just like, I mean, power to him, I guess, you know. But you know, it was definitely was what we're just like the it was gonna just I guess just smile it away, boys, kind of thing, you know, like just kind of laugh a little bit too, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's a division rival and all that, and you know we tend to, and we should be making fun of, you know, our division rivals, and we usually talk bad about them and all that. I mean, I do love Justin Herbert. I think he's actually a really good quarterback. I actually do believe if he wasn't on the Chargers and he was actually with a stable organization, I think that we'd have problems. But thank God he's on the Chargers. But yeah, when I saw that, I mean, it was good to make fun of. I really don't take much into that. I really don't.
Nah, I don't. It was just funny. I just thought
it was
funny.
it was just hilarious. It's great.
It's just you do kind of shake your head. We're just like, oh my gosh.
Bro, it was just funny seeing how everybody reacted to that shit.
I will say this though. Knowing I don't know when that moment was, I will say I wonder how the other wives felt. That's I think the other one that I could maybe see it being a tad awkward. Not like wholly awkward, but like a little bit awkward where you're like, okay, there's this video and they're doing PDF on the side where she's just messing with his hair, you know. But I don't know. I will say, speaking of Chargers prediction in that 2024 draft class, I do have I think it's a very obvious prediction at this point, but J.J. McCarthy will move on from the Minnesota Vikings, and he will pull, in essence, his own Sam Darnold by signing with the Los Angeles Chargers.
I mean, he could for sure reunite with his college head coach.
Because it seems way too easy to predict. He's on track to not work out in Minnesota, you know. And what better, JJ?
No. Oh, okay, yeah. No. I'm sorry, I was just confused because I just saw you said I heard you say he wasn't on track to work out in Minnesota, and I was like, isn't he on the team? Am I tripping?
I meant like work out in the sense like being the starter long term.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay.
And so so like and so I think, you know, it's he's on track not to work out, and so the best way he's going to really, you know, revamp his image, revamp everything, is go back up Justin Herbert and go be with your former college head coach. Yeah. It just seems way too easy to predict.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Shout out to 9, man. But it's so with Minnesota. And Minnesota should be looking at Justin Jefferson has requested a trade. And
yeah,
I saw some, and Stephen A. Smith said something that they're lucky he didn't request out. I just want to put it out there. If he ever requests a trade, I'm offering up. First of all, let me tell you something. I don't think any offensive playmaker that requests a trade from here on out should not be on the Broncos' radar. I don't care what you have to give up. Yeah, if you have to give up 14, Let 14, 11, I don't care, bro. Chug up the deuces. Because
Yeah.
Super Bowl window is here, bro. It's actually crazy to see where we was. Like I remember me and Jordan doing those episodes where you got our shit destroyed 70-20, bro. Like that shit was crazy. And just to see where we are now, like it's just like
Yeah.
holy crap. But I do remember the draft time, man. And I remember there were some Bronco people who actually thought we should draft JJ McCarthy, and I was never on that train.
I admittedly, Jordan knows. I admittedly was one of the people that actually really liked JJ.
Me
But
too.
it was one where it's just like I didn't see this fall off. Like I didn't see this kind of fall off, if you will. I mean,
It's just hard to translate.
But I will say this, and this is kind of a funny Sam Darnold conversation, lumping it all together. It goes to show you that I understand Minnesota's understanding not going out and signing Sam because you just drafted JJ and you want to see what your future holds and everything. So I understand that logic. But there's also that window for you where you probably should sign Sam Darnold to that exact same deal that he signed, right, with Seattle, like when he signed, right? So you at least have a window for you where you can still groom JJ and you have Sam Darnold with you for at least a couple more years, and then you can go with that. So, by the way, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the defense. We haven't actually talked about the defense as much. When it comes to training camp, obviously the defense has been winning the day in terms of Broncos training camp. I want to do a little bit of a full disclosure here, though. More often than not, every single training camp, probably with any sort of team in the National Football League, defense will always win the day. Defense will always win the day. That said, though, the Broncos defense in training camp has been absolutely insane. So J-Mac, you're the guest of the studs that has really kind of stood out for you. Who surprised you? That's kind of really kind of stood out and been a stud for the Broncos defense so far, at least through a week of training camp.
Yeah, I think hearing the stuff about Overreaction was kind of crazy. Like hearing now he's just like destroying people, destroying our offensive line. He's one of the best in football. I think that's kind of been the surprise. I've been really eyeing linebacker, seeing with Murdoch and Torian York. I've been seeing they've been doing good things on like the second, third team and everything like that. Riley Moss, I think, has also been a guy where he's in a contract year, so I expected him to come out. Like I fully
surprising, but not surprising.
Yeah, like I kind of knew seeing him working out the way he did. He didn't really take it barely any time off, and him kind of working. Yeah, I mean, hey, bro, it's time to get paid, and I think that brother will be 100% a New England Patriot next season. I just think that's how that's gonna go. But I definitely think he's gonna have a really bounce back, and I don't think he had a bad year, but I think he's definitely gonna have like an improved season, like in terms of where we're talking about the secondary as like not even debate the best secondary in football. Because the only thing he needed to work on was to not draw flags. And it came to a point last season where I felt like they were calling flags on him because they did at one point in the season. He was committing PIs. But I think it came at a point in the season where like they were just picking on him, man, and that's just it definitely sucked. But I would say number one, Riley Moss for sure has just been like, yeah, he about to have one of those years, bro, where he's gonna have the Broncos be like, damn. It's kind of like gonna be like one of them JFM, like the JFM situation. Yeah. I believe that's just my opinion. Where I think he's gonna have one of those years, gonna be like, bro, we can't pay him, but like, damn,
you really wish you could.
Yeah, bro, he's making it insanely hard because I definitely think by the time this season ends, he's definitely gonna be a top 10 free agent. Like how the NFL comes with their top free agents. Yeah, I think he's for sure gonna be a top 10 free agent, like without a doubt in my mind. And he's gonna get big time money from one of those teams. I just think it's gonna be a contender who pays him. But yeah.
Jordan, you and I have the conversation when it comes to Riley, where we clearly, accept the fact that there's stuff he needed to work on, right? Not being as grabby. But the way that we always said it was, we also felt like he's overhated, right? Like he also feels like he's overhated by a lot of Bronco fans, But we also understood, when there's pass interference penalties and stuff like that, and fans are shouting from the rooftops of like, "Oh, here goes Riley again," you know. So like, but I just think that there were moments where still like Riley, you still kind of have to put it in like the reflectiveness of where Riley is now, and compare it to some of the other corners that have been cornerback to before him, right? Like, I mean, it hasn't necessarily been like the same turnstile for like right tackle or right now middle linebacker or even tight end right now. But it's just like, Michael Ojemudia was there. Phenomenal rookie year, right? Phenomenal rookie year. He was tops in the league when it came to forced fumbles, right? Also came from Iowa, But then that second, third year came, and he bombed. He just did not work out, right? And the other corner that's escaping me, Damari Mathis. Damari Mathis was the same way. He had a great rookie year.
Hey,
Like-
you
like-
gave me
That
flashbacks.
was Max boy.
Well, I mean, like he had a great rookie year, so much so that I was actually having flashbacks of with Pastor Tan of like, here's Champ Bailey and Champ Bailey and Darren Williams, at times, like in that rookie year. But then that fall off happened, right after that, from that second and third year, and so. So he's bounced around the NFL, and I think he's with the Cleveland Browns right now. So it's just like, so I understand where fans are coming from, but you also have to understand and how well Riley's played, given all the circumstances and given everything that has been thrown his way. So to see where it's come, what it can be with him being paid like that, frankly, I would take that as a matter of praise, knowing the fact that the Broncos actually hit on a draft pick that earned himself a $20 million contract a year in a year where they had very limited draft capital.
No, yeah, I mean that's one good thing about the Broncos, where as of late it seems that they've been nailing their draft picks and they've been getting that second contract, or at least they're on their way of getting those second contracts, and that's how you really determine if it was a good draft pick or not. If they can get to that second contract, that's how you know they did well. But I would say, like, what would be the annual on Riley Moss? Is it for sure 20?
I think it's at most 20 a year.
Let me
Because
check.
if it's minimum 20, he'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He'd be top 10 in average annual if it's 20 a year.
Well,
Yeah, well, yeah. So right now they got him. His market value spot track is, they said it's 15. It's between 15 to 18. So like a 3-year, which is I swear when I was talking to somebody and I was like, bro, I feel like he's gonna get like 345, and they got it right now. He's projected 3 years, somewhere between 40 to 55. So it's probably gonna be like 3 or 45.
So that's right in the range of DJ Reed, Jalen Watson, and Lenore from the 49ers.
yeah.
Yep, that sounds about right. And I just think Raleigh, I just think it's tough because he's like the most targeted corner in the league, and I think he does. I ain't gonna lie, to be honest with you. Yeah, he gets the flags, but to be honest with you, bro, some of them throws that gets made on him are fucking ridiculous. Like, I just be like, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, there was nothing else he could do. Or you got guys making like some of the greatest catches of all time on him, where Treylon Burks came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say
to just channel his fucking inner Randy Moss and some shit, and just one shit.
Or the one where even some Bronco fans are yelling from the rooftops about how bad Riley Moss was on the play, and it was a play when they, what was it? Benito was in Herbert's face.
Oh, that
literally in Herbert's face, and and he's draped all over Quentin Johnston, and it's like, what do you want him to do?
It was Keenan, bro. I remember that throw. He broke out of a Zach Allen sack, and yeah, that throw was crazy. But nah, I just think it's gonna. I just see it, bro. I'm sorry, like I just see him having a really good year, and I think it's gonna be tough to pay him. Just giving off like with the like who've all we paid on the defense, having to pay both edge rushers, just basically reshoring that defensive line. But I do think the good thing about it is that if you're the Broncos, you don't really have to go out and do something crazy at corner. And I think you can like literally, you got Abrams Drain, you still got Jade Barron, like you still have that depth there. So I think you don't have to like, yeah, you're losing a really good player because I definitely think Riley Moss is one of the. I'll give him top 15, maybe top 20, but I could put him higher than that. On like because there are stretches
Some
where
teams,
he doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah, there are stretches where he doesn't give up anything, bro, and it's like, hey, bro, come up clutch. But I just think it's gonna be one of those things where he's about to ball out because it's a contract year. He knows probably Denver's probably not gonna pay me. Like they didn't pay everybody else. I'm probably the odd guy out here, and it's just tough, man. But yeah, I do want to bring up one thing though. I'm so sick of Zach Allen getting like criminally underrated on these lists that are coming out.
Oh yeah.
First team all pro for fucking what? Like, what was the point of like? I just don't get how he gets voted first team all pro, which is like what back-to-back years, or he's been all pro 2 years in a row. I don't know if he was first team in 2024 through 25. I can't remember what he was, but I just find it hard to believe how this guy is a first team all pro at D tackle and he's ranked at most lists. Like, I think Bleacher Report had him at what 10, or I saw something had him at 10.
Yeah,
I'm like,
at 10.
I'm like, bro, I like, how is Kobe Turner better than him, bro? Like, how is
It's crazy.
Metabuke from Baltimore.
Yeah, bro. It's just like,
well, to your point,
and Dexter Lawrence, like what the fuck are we doing?
Dexter Lawrence is really good, but like he had a down year last year, so like you should also,
half a sack, by the way.
Yeah, so it's just like you should like, because he had a down year, you should prop up the person who's been relatively consistent even in his days with Arizona. So, but like, look, and to your point, we're not gonna harp on Madden rankings because like
I don't care about Madden.
But I do find it hysterical to your point because like Madden ratings is in that somewhat of a same conversation where Madden is just hysterical. Obviously, Madden officially, if you're an MVP Plus member, it officially dropped today. But like, I just find it so funny. The Broncos are a top 4 overall team in Madden, but you go check the lists of the individuals that are ranked, if you will, in that. There's only one player who's ranked in the top 10, and it's Pat Surtain. And he's not even ranked the number 1 corner. Zach Allen is not even ranked in the top 10 when it comes to defensive tackles. Talanoa Hufanga is not even ranked when it comes to top 10 safeties. So it's just, and Nick Bonito is not even in the top edge rushers. The people who are rightly appreciated are Garrett Bowles and Quinn Miners because they rate him as like the top 2 offensive linemen. But still, it's just it goes to show you it's like, okay, so you put us at like one of the best teams in football. You hate on Bo Nix once again by giving him an 82 overall, 81 overall, and then you got Caleb Williams, your cover boy, at 90. And it's just like
I just don't see that. Yeah, like I'm with you, bro. To be honest, I'll say Madden can go eat something, bro. I don't understand how Pat Surtain can legit win Defensive Player of the Year and not be ranked 99, and then come back the next season where he doesn't have a down year. And now Christian Gonzalez is just better than him. I just think that's fucking ludicrous. And I want to wait. Has Christian Gonzalez been named on the top 100?
He has not.
Let him be ranked higher than Pat Surtain.
I don't think the players are going to do that. I think the players know better.
I don't know.
The players know. The players know who's the best corner. I mean, especially the receivers.
I mean, I'm just at a point where I'm like, I just don't get how Hufanga doesn't make the list, and he's all pro. Like, I mean, I get it's a player voted list, but like, you cannot sit here and tell me Kevin Byard is better than fucking Talanoa Hufanga, bro. Like,
yeah, that one's a bit.
I don't give a damn if you don't play football and you just a casual fan. Like, there's just no way you sitting there like, yeah, that guy's better. Like, I just think it's disrespectful, bro. But I mean, but then again, though, I'm cool with it because let the Broncos keep flying under the radar.
Do you guys have a Hall of Fame game on right now?
Yeah, the Hall of Fame game.
Haynes King just took it in for game winner.
I see it.
As time expired against their. That's incredible. I'm getting flashbacks to.
He's lucky Carson Beck was on the field. All right.
I am getting flashbacks to Bronco legend Juwan Winfrey. Getting the ball in the air and catching it in as time is expiring. That is crazy.
I still remember Noah Fant playing in the Hall of Fame game.
But it wasn't a tight end sweep though. Not at that point.
It's just I'm just kind of through with all the offseason rankings. Like you said, they didn't make Caleb Williams like the
best ever.
Yeah. Apparently, Caleb Williams is just from what he's shown. He's the second coming to Patrick Mahomes in this motherfucker. Like, you know. See, but it's just funny how we choose to have short-term memory about certain shit. Like that shit that pisses me off. It's like we just choose to forget Caleb Williams threw a fucking 6-inch meatball sub to the Rams in the playoff game and cost them. But it's like we just forget how ass Drake May was in the playoffs. We forget that Jaden Daniels himself causing his own injuries because he doesn't know how to fucking slide. Yeah. We just choose to forget those things when it comes to ranking.
And Drake May actually, he went to the Super Bowl, but Drake May actually having a playoff regression where he was terrible.
He was awful in every
game.
Guys,
you keep slandering Drake May in public. They might arrest you.
Yeah,
bro. I just think it's crazy how Caleb Williams gets praised for selling his team. Bo Nix lifts up his team and beats the reigning fucking MVP.
That's why
people say he's the best player in the NFL. Okay, well, Bo Nix outplayed him, and now it's just
and look, we're
81 overall. It's fucking.
Look, I will say this: like we're Bronco fans, and we all will admit it. But the legitimate argument for why Bo Nix is the best quarterback of that class, who's been the most consistent? Who's been the most consistent quarterback in that class? It's been Bo. Yeah, Jaden won Rookie of the Year and argumentative sake, whatever, had a better year or an equal year, if you will, for Bo. What happens this year? Drake May plays like an MVP kind of candidate, you know, but still, Caleb had a down year in 24. May had a horrendous year in 24. You know, like, but who's been the most consistent? Bo Nix. Right?
I don't think
it's just like, yeah. So it's just, so it's just one where it's really diabolical the way that a person's mind works. But and so it's just in general. And so as far as going on with this defense, and then as we were kind of rounding out the show here, I think the one player, continuing the theme for the defensive line, and continuing in lockstep, if you will, for some of the rookies, is Tyler Onyadam.
He's not getting talked about at all, which is kind of crazy.
And I mean, like, it's really nice to hear his name being called on some of these, training camps. And I do want to call to remembrance that, in college, he didn't have a lot of plays, but I think it's more so about the structure of the way that Texas A&M defensive front was structured. Because, like, one of the things that I had been hearing is just they're not more of a productive front. They're a disruptive front, but it's just one where they're not one that's like a productive where you're going to have an interior defensive lineman actually get 10.5 sacks, right? Like, you're going to have one where it's going to be almost like the Broncos defensive line where you're going to have balance across the board up and down your defensive line. And so I think it's going to be one where I legitimately could see, Onyadam fitting in really nicely. And so I think your three legitimate candidates to replace JFM is going to end up being, Malcolm Roach, Wama Wazirike, and then Tyler Onyadam, where it'll be kind of like a mixture of all three of those guys. And so to hear all three of those names having really good training camps is a good sign, I think, in the early stages of camp.
Malcolm Roach almost got destroyed by Broncos country, by the way. What are you doing, bro? I'm sorry. Like, I love you, bro, but you tripping, because if Bo would have went down, boy, let me tell you, I'd have cut him on the spot. But it's not. I'm with you on that. It's funny because I don't know what it is about Broncos draft picks, but shit, I feel like even the fan base doesn't talk about him a lot because it's just how stacked the team actually is and the roles they're gonna have. But he's not even projected to start. It's kind of almost like a Jody situation, but he's just not a first round pick. He's going to be one of those rotational guys, but he's definitely going to have a big role. I think he's going to be – it's interesting to see where they're going to have him, though. If they're going to have him play behind Savion Jones on the depth chart or above Savion Jones on the depth chart, because I think Savion is definitely going to play this year. With him not being a rookie, I think he's a healthy scratch for most of the games. What was he, a third round pick?
Yeah.
Third, yeah.
Yeah, third round pick. So I definitely think that he's going to play this year. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the entire defensive unit, the front, not the front seven. So let me just rephrase this: the front four in its rotation is just gonna be off the charts. Jonathan Cooper, I think, is gonna be back by the time the season starts, dealing with his whole situation. But Jonah Ellis going crazy in camp. Q Robinson, I just think, bro, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like, they might actually like it. Now, look, I know JFN being gone, I think we're gonna have less sacks. Unfortunately, I know Zach Allen thinks he's gonna break the sack record, but I think we're gonna 100% lead the league in sacks again. Yeah. And I think it's gonna be one of the things where it's not gonna be close again. Like, they just have too many bodies, bro. They rotate too much to get fresh guys in there. Like our third stringers could damn near be starters on some teams, bro.
Oh,
like
yeah.
That's how crazy this shit is. Like, I'm looking at bro, Dondre Tillman, Q Robinson, like.
If Jonah Ellis played for the Dolphins, I mean, they'd offer him a $30 million per year contract by the end of his rookie year. I mean,
the Bradley Chubb deal.
Yeah. But I will say though, even though it might seem like they might not get the sack record, and again, it is extremely hard. But last year they were coming back in a lot of those fourth quarter games. If they start playing with a lead, and now the opposing offense is a bit more predictable and more passing situations, it does lead to more opportunities. So I don't expect the Broncos to be trading in every game like they did last year. So I think those opportunities are going to arise.
The other thing I was going to say too is I know there's there's relatively good balance on that defensive line in terms of sack numbers and hurry numbers and stuff like that. I will say I think you'll see a little bit more balance across the board when it comes to those sack numbers, where I think you will see about a 4.5 sack year for a Wazirike, maybe even the same kind of numbers for a Malcolm Roach, right? I even think you'll see close to a 10 sack season for Zach Allen, right? And I think obviously for Cooper and Benito, they will always be flirting with 10 plus sacks every year. Where I think it's going to be interesting is like, well, what is the number specifically going to end up being for guys like Jonah Ellis and Q Robinson? Because it's crazy to me that Jonah Ellis was strongly considered one of the more slept-on players of that entire Denver Broncos roster. Probably still is. But the one player who has very quickly been nipping at his heels is a player that's below him, and that's Q Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very curious to see how that unfolds with both of them, because you legitimately have maybe a better version of what you had with Shaquille Barrett and Shane Ray of 2015. In terms of like just you actually have a second unit that is going to be a little bit more ferocious in getting at the quarterback, because the one thing you can always bank on with Jonah Ellis and Q Robinson, Q Robin especially, is it's a motor that never stops.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he reminds me of Shaq Barrett a lot. I just hope we don't make the same mistake like we did with Shaq Barrett.
Yeah.
I mean, guys,
that's just kind of
when we talk about sacks, I mean, we do blitz our linebackers a lot. You got to talk about Alex Singleton.
Jesus Christ. It's one of those things where you just gotta kind of say it is. I just have hope in the other 10 guys that they're gonna do their job so well where we can hopefully continue to try to hide his lapses in coverage. So I'm just kind of that's just still is. I'm sorry, bro. I'm making that shit work with Dre Greenlaw, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I'm finding a way. I'm sitting down. I'm telling him, bro, look, bro, I don't care what it's going to take. Like, bro, I don't know if you need your wife in the room with your film sessions. Man, we can fly your best friends out. You can have your own office to have the film sessions, bro. Learn whatever you need to learn a goddamn playbook, bro. And it's just like, fuck, man, cut him and just paid Singleton for 3 years.
So as far as moving forward, and we're looking at the preseason game where the Broncos will be playing the Atlanta Falcons, where they will be missing Jalen Walker because he unfortunately had an ACL tear. So Obviously, Jordan, you and I will talk, and Brandon and I will be talking about that next week as we're previewing the Friday game. But maybe just do like an initial one for you, J Mac.
Yeah.
Who is a player? I know we talked about like a player you were most looking forward to in just the entirety of the preseason, but specific to that game, upcoming here because it is the first one that you're most excited to see.
I would say honestly, Sam Ellinger. I want to see what he's gonna do because I think the quarterback 2 thing is a very
But it's not a battle. But it's not a battle. We were told that there's no battle.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit. I seen that guy Jared Stidham, who Sean tried to praise us for a whole week straight. I seen him cost us a trip to the goddamn Super Bowl by just doing the stupidest shit you could do. So I definitely think Sam Ellinger. I'm excited to see how he plays because I think if he outplays Jared Stidham, then hey, I think this conversation needs to be had. But I would say I'm gonna give a little dark horse here. I'm gonna go with Keem Butler.
Oh, shit.
Got you, bro. I definitely have to say Hakeem Butler. Hopefully, we see something in him that can take our minds off a little Jordan Humphrey. He's another guy where I think it's kind of interesting with him because him being with his frame, being like 6'5", 6'6", I think it's gonna be interesting to see whether or not he makes the team or not. Because Sean loves those bigger guys. Hell, at this point, move him to tight end if you got to. Because his tape in the I think it was the XFL he was in is pretty good. But definitely, I'm excited to see him. So I would say those two. Jonah Coleman, obviously, but he's like kind of the obvious one. But I definitely think Hakeem Butler and Sam Ellinger I'm gonna be looking at. Sorry, Jordan.
Well, yeah, mine was Hakeem Butler because not only is he a big body, but he's actually fast, which separates him from the other big body wide receivers that we have. But if I was to pick another one, I'd go with Jello Skinner, one of my other boys. I need to see that leap. He needs to get those opportunities.
You're getting the Skinner theme. Like
I believe him. I believe in him. I do.
I think Miles Scott is coming for that backup safety spot, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I think we'll be on the team as a special team captain, though, 100%.
They're gonna have like 5-6 safeties again.
Yeah.
And Devon Key is gonna be one of them, and then like Miles Scott, and it could be Miles Scott and J.L. Skinner.
Yeah, because I don't think Tyson Anderson are only free agents on it.
Which I find so funny because what happened last year, they signed J.T. Gray, they signed Sam Franklin.
Forgot about him.
They signed special teams. They signed special teams aces, and they are really bad when it comes to special teams.
I forgot bro even existed. No disrespect. Yeah. I forgot all about J.T. Gray.
That man got a good tour of the facility and the old one.
I think for me, obviously, not taking some of the positive ones, I will say Daredevil, Red Murdoch.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think this just environment it breeds stuff for him, and so I think Daredevil, Red Murdoch, I think is going to have something up his sleeve. And I said before, one of my hot takes for their bold predictions, if you will, for the season is he will have 300 plus snaps this season.
God damn shit, he better be a special teamer because he did.
I think he will be, and so he'll have a special team role, and then at the end of the season, that's where you'll see more opportunities for him because one of the biggest things we want to see this defense do, turn the ball over, and so I think that he's going to be one of those toys at the very end of the year where they'll use him, and the other bold future take, if you will, is I see our future duo being Taurine York and Red Murdoch down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's that, but I think it's interesting because right now they got him as the third linebacker on the depth chart, so I think it's really interesting to see. With Drew Sanders being the fourth and Taurine York is kind of like one of the last ones, but I definitely think it's interesting to see about Red Murdoch.
Yeah,
Drew Sanders.
All right, we're going to wrap up the show. Before we leave, J-Mac, why don't you shout out all the work that you're doing because you were just booming, doing a whole bunch of stuff right now. Mm-hmm. You're not as active as much anymore on the Twitter wire, but you are certainly active when it comes to short form, TikTok clips, Instagram clips, where you're even sitting down with even former Denver Bronco players and stuff like that. So just go ahead and plug some of your stuff and everything that you've been working on.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, man. Shout out to the podcast I have, Orange Crush Hour. We're gonna be moving to in person for the season. Me and Jerry, shout out Free Broncos. We did a lot of good stuff this offseason, getting interviews with former players and stuff like that. Shout out Deontay Spencer and Deshaun Williams for giving us that opportunity. Going out to them and doing those interviews. But yeah, during the season, man, we got a lot of stuff planned. I'm definitely getting back into posting more just about, the entire league and everything like that, getting back into that. But I just been growing that platform as much as possible. But yeah, man, shout out Orange Crush Hour, man. Y'all go follow it on Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube and everything like that. Follow the TikTok and everything. Yeah, but we have an interview coming up towards the end of the month, and it's probably going to be the biggest one that we had so far. So, I'm definitely excited. I'm just excited for the season. I'm just glad the Broncos are good. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad the Broncos are good again. And, but it's definitely funny seeing like Broncos country, like be active again. It's definitely funny. But yeah, man, thank you guys for letting me come on again. I'm always down to come on, I love you guys. So, and I love the show. So,
yeah. Well, no, I'm not going to put you on the spot. How often have you been listening and watching the streams, knowing how busy you are?
Yeah, I mean, no, so like, I watch YouTube a lot. So like usually a lot of my free times when I'm watching stuff is YouTube. So I see you guys come across and I always come in the chat and try to troll y'all a little bit. But you guys, y'all guys be locked into the show. But I always try to come in and show you guys just a little bit.
Nice. Because it's always you got to troll Jordan, right? Like,
oh yeah, no, 100%. You know what I'm saying? But and this is for Jordan. I do want to just give a shout out to Brad Stevens. I think Stevens doing a hell of a job over there.
Yeah,
managing the Boston Celtics. I ain't gonna lie, hey man, y'all team look like a real title contender. You got 2 MVP candidates. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the Celtics.
We signed the guy that can't shoot free throws.
Yeah, man. But yeah, no, man. I really do appreciate y'all coming on. For letting me come on. And
wow, we're really just like
the last question I do have for you. I got one more question for y'all.
All right.
Taysom Hill.
No.
For me, I think it's a no-brainer. I would bring him along.
Jordan, love you, bro. Absolutely. Yeah, man.
No.
Bring him in, bro.
No.
I'm sorry. I don't see how it would hurt.
No.
Why?
Staff member? Yes.
Staff member is great. Bro, he's arguably better than Evan Ingram. He's a better athlete than half of our offense.
But I just 35, 36 years old. He's already 1 year closer to an AARP contract. I mean, like.
But I ain't gonna. But bro, he'll be one of the best playmakers we got. Okay, like right now.
What Cam thinks about Taysom Hill in 2026 is kind of similar to this. So,
hey, every time I just hear that song, you like my vibe. Hey,
so that's
funny, man. Shout out to Paul George, Celtics, man. Playoff pandemic P. The true born Boston Celtic. You feel what I'm saying? Brad Stevens said he saw enough in that playoff series. Gotta make the move. Yeah, bro. But nah, I'm not opposed to Taysom, bro, personally. And I just think he's gonna come back. Like, shit. Hey, but it was funny. I saw this one tweet. Somebody was like, yeah, the Rams can bring back Aaron Donald, but Broncos bringing in Taysom Hill. I said, that shit is fucking hilarious.
So, all right. For J-Mac, for Jordan, and for myself, thanks for watching it. And then just remember, no one has it worse than Spurs in those NBA finals and everything.
Hey, man.
And so
we'll be back. Well, definitely. We'll be back.
We won't.
Thank you to everybody that hopped through the stream. And as always, remember, God bless Bo Nix.
Let's go Broncos! God bless Bo Nix!